Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I wanted to touch on this idea here of barricades being removed, which was recently announced. This was about, I think, a little more than a week ago. However, I just wanted to give more of some condensed views on at least my thoughts for the pure removal of barricades. Now, the thing that I've said this before briefly, but for me, I liked barricades. I still like barricades. I think the challenge, and this is something that, you almost equate this to a knee-jerk reaction, right? There's not really enough data, so to speak, to indicate on saying, oh, well, hey, this requires a complete full removal, right? If we read this, it says, since introducing barricade feature, we received a lot of feedback, with many mentioning how overpowering barricades are on the battlefield. After careful consideration, we've decided to remove the barricade feature for the Season 2+. Lords will not be able to build barricades, and any existing ones on the map will be scrapped. Builders will be compensated for any resources spent constructing barricades. This change will take effect in the version 1.0.21 release. Right? It says, we're constantly keeping an eye on the battlefield dynamics in Call of Dragons and striving to make improvements for a better gaming experience. We encourage everyone to engage with us, share your ideas, and help us make Call of Dragons even better. So, my thing is this. If they're overpowered, why not just nerf them a bit? There are ways to do that do not require you to take a very extreme stance on saying, oh, well, right, because the feedback you're getting, it indicates we need to remove them. I don't think anyone... let me be specific once again. I do not believe that there is an overwhelming majority of people out there who are advocating for a complete removal of barricades. From my experience, I have not seen anyone. I don't even know one person that I've seen publicly say something for all the posts that I read through, whether it's on my Discord, the CoD Discord, if it's in DMs, whether that's in game or on Discord. I mean, heck, I don't even know if I've even seen a suggestion that has a lot of upvotes that is again asking for a complete removal of barricades. It's not to say that no one is. However, there's a big difference between a few people doing it that feels like it's a megaphone effect versus hundreds of people or thousands of people that are saying, hey, we need to remove this. My view is, look, instead of doing this, kind of 0 to 100 stance where it's like a full pivot, why not just nerf them a bit? There are ways, and I'll give you some solutions here. Some of the things they could have done with barricades, they could have limited how many barricades or if you want to say limit more, how many barricades that players can build. You could nerf them just a little bit, where maybe it doesn't take as long to destroy them. You could also potentially limit the amount of barricades that can be built in a single flag's territory. Right? You can extend the radius for barricades on where they can be placed, whether that's at the top or bottom of ramps or across from bridges. Right, or even if you look at choke points, you can even define that. If you look at, there's quite a few choke points on the map. You could even say, look, we're going to put radius zones or no barricade placing zones around these choke points. Again, there are things you can do in a stepping stone type of way, where you say, okay, look, let's try this level 1, right? Version where we'll start with 1 or 2 things on barricades. Okay, if it still feels like that's not working, let's up that again, right? It doesn't have to always be a all or nothing type of approach. And I just want to point out, like, this to me, if I'm looking at this objectively from an outsider looking in, this is pretty concerning, right? And this is respectfully saying this to the developers. This is what I would consider to be valid constructive criticism, is that I would be scared if I was a normal, regular, or just the average player, right? Or I'll just see someone who plays the game, right, in general, because this shows me that instead of trying to come up with creative solutions to what many consider to be still a good feature in the game, right? I think on-field buildable structures is a great feature. Anytime they get feedback that maybe feels like it's pressuring them, and again, this is just, my opinion for how it looks from the outside looking in, you guys get however much feedback, and instead of looking to do small changes, adjustments, we need to do a big one to make a big statement to try and satisfy everyone. And again, I don't think that's what the majority of people were saying and or advocating for. So again, these are my thoughts. I obviously would love to know what you think, right? Do you agree with this idea of, hey, look, maybe we should have done a couple small changes here first, right? Do maybe a layer of limitation and then maybe do another layer of limitation if needed, right? After maybe you let that run for a full season or two, and then you make those adjustments. As you see, look at what the data is telling you, look at what the feedback is telling you. However, if there isn't, and I'd be curious to know as well, right, if you don't agree, was there an overwhelming majority of people that were giving feedback indicating, yeah, we need to completely remove barricades? Because if so, right, maybe I just wasn't a part of those, maybe I didn't see those, and that's fine as well. But I would be curious to know, what side of the fence do you land on? Are you, yes, pro, let's remove barricades, or no, we were not? We were more pro, let's make some small adjustments because maybe that just seems more appealing, right, to try that first before we do a full removal. So, yeah, again, not too long on this video. I just wanted to share some thoughts because this is something I wanted to touch on and talk about for a while. I just, again, haven't had a moment to do so. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I obviously would be very curious. And also, if you have specific situations in which you noticed barricades being used in a certain type of way that either, kind of gave you a negative experience that, again, would go towards you landing on one side of the fence or the other, or if you saw, or even give us an example of maybe some good situations in how barricades were being used, where maybe they didn't seem kind of too overpowered, right, as they're stating, but you felt this was actually a good way that it worked out, and maybe it was because less were built, or it was earlier on in the fight, so they didn't have as long of an opportunity to build a lot. Wherever you land on, whatever the situation may be, I'd love to read. That's going to do it for me on this short one today. Again, as always, until next time, I will catch you later.